Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, it's really one of those books that feels less like reading and more like, I don't know, reconnecting with a truth you already knew. It's this incredibly profound but also gentle guide to just living fully, right here in the present moment. So what we're going to do is dive in and unpack its transformative ideas together.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to explore 6 key themes that really build on each other. We'll kick things off with the book's core idea, this timeless truth. Then, we'll get into what it really means to embrace the present, how to silence the mind, and the incredible power of acceptance. From there, we'll tackle rising above the ego, and we'll wrap it all up with its powerful call to transformation.
All right, so let's start with the book's foundational message. What's it all about? Well, it's basically a spiritual call to wake up, to release ourselves from those mental prisons we all build, and just embrace life as it unfolds, moment by moment.
And this quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of it all. What Tolle is reminding us of is that our entire life, it only ever unfolds in this one single moment. It's not in the past, we can't change that, and it's not in the future, which, let's be real, doesn't even exist yet. The real richness of life, it's found right here, right now.
And that, right there, is why this book is so incredibly powerful. See, it's not just some lofty, abstract philosophy. It gives you actual practical tools to help us navigate this crazy world that's constantly screaming for our attention, and allows us to find that sense of inner peace, even when everything around us is pure chaos. Okay, and this leads us straight to the absolute heart of the book. This idea that the present moment, that is the true foundation of a fulfilling life.
So, Tolle defines the now as the only place where life is actually happening. Think about it. When we're stuck dwelling on past regrets or getting all anxious about the future, we're literally missing out on life itself. The present moment, when we truly live in it, becomes this gateway to who we really are, to our most authentic selves.
Now, here's a super crucial point. This isn't just about, sitting down to meditate for 10 minutes a day, though, hey, that can definitely help. No, this is about shifting your entire approach to life. It's about making every single moment an opportunity to be fully alive and deeply connected.
Of course, embracing the present sounds great, right? But we first have to deal with one major obstacle, that constant, non-stop chatter in our own heads.
And we all know this feeling, right? That just relentless stream of thoughts. You're replaying old conversations, you're worrying about tomorrow. Tolle explains that all this mental noise, that's what's blocking us from feeling the peace that's actually available to us, right here in the present.
So, how do we actually do it? Well, Tolle offers a really simple but totally profound 2-step process. Step 1, you learn to detach from your thoughts. You start to see them as just events happening in your mind. And Step 2, you just observe them. Watch them come and go, without getting tangled up in them and without judging them. This is the moment you realize, hey, I'm the one watching the thoughts, I'm not the thoughts themselves.
This ability to just observe our thoughts, it builds directly into another one of his key teachings, the absolutely liberating power of acceptance.
Okay, but it's really, really important to understand what Tolle actually means by acceptance. It does not mean being passive or just giving up. Nope. It means embracing the reality of this moment exactly as it is. And here's the paradox. It's only from that place of non-resistance that any real positive change can even start.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Most of our suffering doesn't come from the situation itself, but from how much we fight against it. Like, if you're stuck in traffic. The traffic is just traffic. It's a neutral fact. The suffering comes from your mental resistance, that anger, that frustration, that voice screaming, this shouldn't be happening. Tolle points out that that resistance is what creates and dials up our own discomfort.
So the practice here is to say an inner yes to whatever the present moment holds, even when it's tough, even when it's painful. This simple act of just aligning with reality, it's incredibly empowering. It lets us move through life's difficulties with a kind of grace and strength, instead of constantly fighting a battle that, honestly, we can't win.
All right, so once we start getting the hang of accepting the now, we usually run smack into another major roadblock that Tolle talks all about, the ego.
So Tolle describes the ego as this kind of false sense of self that actually thrives on negativity. It feeds on a sense of separation. It needs an us versus them to even exist. It weirdly loves suffering because that gives it a story, an identity. And it just endlessly creates these self-centered stories, the whole me and my problems narrative, just to keep itself in the driver's seat.
But here's the good news. When we learn to spot these ego-driven patterns in ourselves, we can start to step outside of them. And the freedom that comes from that, oh, it's immense. We're no longer driven by that constant need to compare, to compete, or to desperately cling to some fixed identity. This is where we find our true, authentic selves.
And all of this, it brings us to our final section, which is really about putting these ideas into practice. Because this isn't just about understanding concepts in your head, it's a direct invitation to fundamentally change how you live your life.
So, what's the ultimate goal here? It's true inner peace. And look, this isn't the kind of peace that depends on getting everything you want in the outside world. Not at all. It's an internal sanctuary that you create by anchoring yourself in the now. It's a kind of stillness that can hold up no matter what chaos is unfolding around you.
So the really crucial takeaway is that the power of now is so much more than a book, it's a practical toolkit. It really challenges us to take charge of our own experience, to let go of those old mental habits that cause us so much stress, and to start building a life that's rooted firmly in presence.
And honestly, the impact of these ideas, it goes way beyond just the pages of the book. It sparks this deep kind of introspection and encourages you to completely reimagine how you approach everything in life, from your biggest challenges right down to the smallest, simplest moments.
And that really just leaves us with a final thought. Whether you're hearing about these teachings for the very first time or you're revisiting them like an old friend, they have the power to leave a serious mark. So I'll end with this question for you. Have you read this masterpiece? And if so, how has it shaped your own journey?